Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, November 9th. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect mostly cloudy skies and a high of 84 degrees in San Antonio today. Even with his victory over President Donald Trump, Joe Biden's hopes for enacting ambitious climate change policy on which he campaigned on remains unclear with control of the Senate in limbo. We have what you need to know at expressnews.com. Ken Paxton's legal opinion, written days before an August 4th foreclosure auction, is one of the alleged favors that the Texas Attorney General did for Nate Paul, a friend and campaign donor. You can follow the latest developments in the saga at expressnews.com. And now, let's move on to the top stories for the day. Daniel Alarik founded Grunt Style in 2009, and it grew quickly. The 38-year-old veteran who deployed twice to the Balkans was upbeat and forward-looking as he recounted the wins and losses. He said he knew he'd made mistakes. Alarik lost control of San Antonio-based Grunt Style in 2019 to C3 Capital, a Kansas City, Missouri-based small business lender. The company terminated Alarik's employment contract in August, though he remains chairman and the largest individual shareholder. On October 2nd, he sued the company in Bexar County District Court for breaking the contract. He's seeking as much as $1 million in fees and damages. Grunt Style responded on October 27th with several counterclaims accusing Alarik of drinking on the job, financial mismanagement, and inappropriate sexual relationships with employees. Brandon Lingle tells the story in our latest collaboration with Report for America. Allies see Tuesday's result as the latest sign that Nirenberg, who made himself the face of the workforce proposal, has broadened the support he's been gaining during the pandemic, enjoying high approval numbers for what residents see as his steady handling of the crisis. Nearly every election the mayor has run since he was first elected to the council to represent District 8 on the northwest side has gone to a runoff, including his bitter mayoral re-election bid last year. The question now is whether Tuesday's victory portends another win for Nirenberg in May, when he will ask voters to give him a third term. Joshua Fechter explores why the general election might not be indicative of what can happen in a local municipal race. The rise in new infections, which began in early October in El Paso and parts of North Texas, is now occurring in other regions, including those around Dallas, Laredo, College Station, and Texarkana. The outbreak in Texas comes as cases are exploding nationwide. Health experts with Policy Lab at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia said youth sports and small household gatherings are likely driving the surge, especially in areas where temperatures are dropping. Governor Greg Abbott sent medical staff and supplies to El Paso and the Panhandle last month, but has otherwise been reluctant to intervene or acknowledge the outbreak. You can read more about the situation in Texas and what has officials worried about the weeks ahead at expressnews.com. Some Texas students falling behind in online-only classes soon could face a mandate from their public school districts, return to campus, or find somewhere else to learn. Faced with widespread reports of students failing and missing classes, the Texas Education Agency issued guidance Thursday that allowed school districts to stop offering virtual instruction to individual students with poor grades or attendance. Several San Antonio area districts have considered such a move, but previous TEA guidance didn't allow them to pick and choose which students to call back to campus. Canceling online learning meant canceling it for everybody. You can read more about the new rules at the link in this episode's description. We're still tracking COVID-19 by the numbers in San Antonio and across the country. Our interactive dashboard tracks the spread of coronavirus in the San Antonio area, in Texas, and across the U.S. We're also keeping a timeline of the virus and its effects on the San Antonio area. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside your Express News subscription. San Antonio officials reported 88 new coronavirus cases Sunday, a significant drop from Saturday's 238 cases, amid weeks-long upward trend in daily case numbers. Enthusiasm soared among Democrats and Republicans alike in the area as jubilant supporters of President-elect Joe Biden celebrated his win, while champions of the President Donald Trump cheered him on, believing the courts will keep him in office. More than 120 supporters of President Donald Trump lined a street north of San Antonio International Airport, contending the election was rife with fraud favoring Democrats. No one making such claims offered any evidence. U.S. Army North said it was dispatching 3 Air Force medical specialty teams, one of them from a San Antonio base, to hospitals in El Paso that are now being ravaged by the coronavirus. San Antonio's Animal Care Services hit a record live release rate of 92% for 2020, according to officials. The shelter first reached the 90% milestone in 2016, reporting a 32% live release rate just 5 years prior. Black Lives Matter organizer Farrell Clark announced he's running for the city council. Clark is the third in a growing field of candidates challenging incumbent District 2 Councilwoman Jada Andrews Sullivan, who represents the East Side. A former Castle Hills councilwoman has filed a lawsuit against the suburban community, seeking to clear her name and recoup some $70,000 in legal expenses. Firstmark Credit Union honored teachers for their dedication to students during the pandemic with a 3-hour drive-through celebration in which volunteers handed out free frozen turkeys to 1,000 teachers. Texas is adding new residents faster than most other states, but with the energy business transforming away from fossil fuels, communities wonder how to attract the jobs of the future, writes Chris Tomlinson in his latest column about why attracting business relocation isn't hard. A retired priest's sermons via email became the Corona homilies and will soon become a podcast. Elena Yala tells Father David Garcia's story at expressnews.com. There was no suspense Tuesday night in the vote for a public transit proposition in San Antonio, which won nearly 68% of the vote. But Gilbert Garcia writes that getting to that win, however, was anything but easy. Sports dynasties are liable to fizzle and fade, the way the Spurs and the Patriots have, sports columnist Mike Finger writes, adding, "The only surprising thing about either slide is it didn't happen sooner." This week in history, on November 11th, 1919, Americans celebrate the first anniversary of the signing of the armistice ending World War I. November 11th was established as Armistice Day and celebrated every November until 1954, when Congress and President Eisenhower officially changed it to Veterans Day to honor veterans of all wars. Two downtown area neighborhoods succeeded in protecting 2 homes from demolition as the city's Historic and Design Review Commission decided they both have historic significance and shouldn't be demolished. One of the houses proposed for designation, a 1921 Craftsman bungalow in Beacon Hill north of downtown, has ties to San Antonio's Greek community and a Jefferson High School football standout who played at Texas A&M and in the National Football League. The other was a 1910 Queen Anne-style house south of downtown and is in an area between the city's King William District, La Vaca, and Mission Historic District. Scott Huddleston has all of the details in his latest article. The San Antonio Zoo is offering flavors of festivals that are sorely missed. Call it a Taste of Texas festivals you couldn't get to this year, but the San Antonio Zoo calls it On a Stick Festivals You Missed, a special offering of foods, drinks, and music that pay homage to Fiesta, Oktoberfest, and the State Fair of Texas. The first On a Stick weekend wrapped Sunday but returns for seconds on November 13th through the 15th. Mario's Pizzeria and Wine Bar makes some of the best pizza crust in our 52 Weeks of Pizza series. You can find the full review at expressnews.com. The UIL Sub 5A playoffs begin this week. You can take a look at the first round schedules at expressnews.com. The NBA and National Basketball Players Association have agreed to a plan to begin a 72-game 2020-2021 season on December 22nd. We have why the Spurs might benefit from a fast-track NBA schedule at expressnews.com. And that's all for today. This was your Express briefing for Monday, November 9th. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside of your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.